morning, y'all. Good morning. I was almost I was almost late this morning because I woke up this morning feeling like I want to do no thing. Hey, Soda sister. Hey. Is it Kia or Kaya? I know we know each other. I know you from WKU, but am I saying it Kia or Kaya? Good morning, girl. Good morning, baby girl. Hey, Sharita, my sister, my baby's mama. So, okay, y'all. I was almost late because, let me start my timer. Because this morning I woke up and I was just feeling like I want to do no thing. Like literally, I just want to do no things today. And so I was like, I'm not going to go in the garage and work out. It's Kaya. I hope that's what you said, Kaya. So I usually go in the garage and do my workout. But this morning I was like, I'm just going to do something just for me, right? So I said, I'm going to get in the shower and wash my hair. Y'all know how Tabitha named her hair Donna. So I think it's funny that she did that because I named my hair a long time ago. I named her, especially when she's big, her name is Alejandra, the lion's mane, right? So I'd be like, Alejandra, you're going to have to calm down today. But, hey, y'all. Of course I remember you, baby girl. So did y'all, I need to get to my point about today, but I need to talk about this too. Because I used to do this between my 20s and 30s, y'all. I had all kind of heels, like high heels, and they were so cute, y'all. Between my 20s and 30s, now I don't wear them because these knees ain't gonna have them. So I used to name my heels too. Hey, Katina. I used to name my heels. So you know how Tabitha named her hair Donna, and I named my hair Alejandra. I used to name all my heels because they was my girlfriends. And I used to be like, I don't need nobody but my girlfriends. So all my different heels that I wore, I gave them different names. So, you know, I had like Felicia. I'd be like, y'all better recognize Felicia today. And I'm talking about my high heel shoes, y'all. My strappies, my cute little sandals, my strappies, or my pumps, or whatever pair of shoes I had on. I used to just talk about them and I named them. They was my girlfriends. I'd be like, let me go in here and get some of my girlfriends out. Anyway, I was thinking about that. I don't know why I was thinking about that. But I also named my beads too. So I'll name my beads like Leslie or Carmen or whatever. Those be my girlfriends. I am so silly, right? I know. And so, so thinking of that, Katina, that brings me to my point today about being together but being lonely. So that brings me to this point, y'all, about being together and being lonely. And let me ask y'all this question. Let me ask y'all this question. I want you to really check into your heart and see if this is true or false. But how many of you have felt lonely? Or are you lonely right now? I really believe our society is lonely. And Katina, that's what made me think of that when you said, like, I'm such a funny weird. So when you're in communities or in groups of people, it could be family members or those that you love. When you're in those environments or contexts or groups and you don't feel seen or you don't feel understood, it's a lonely place, right, y'all? I was thinking about that because I was thinking about how a lot of people are probably feeling lonely right now. Or even when you show up and you can't show up as your full self. You are in this space, but you can't be your full self. Or when you do express or try to be your full self, is misunderstood, right? Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's lonely. I know it so well. That's such a lonely feeling. Or when you're in this process of trying to be what others want you to be or what they expect you to be. I think that's strongly in our society, right? Because y'all know our society is lonely and our definition of self-worth is more tied to things instead of who we truly are, right? So our definition of self-worth, y'all know this about our society and just where we're going and where we've been. It's all about acquiring wealth and reputation and power, but it's through things and those become our gods, right? Those are the things that we live for and the things that we chase. But our true definition of self-worth and like how we feel seen and just who we really are, it's more intrinsics, isn't it? Intrinsics. It's more intrinsic, right? It's more about who we are. And like you said, Katina, like, I get to be weird. Like, I know that about me. And so for so many years, I would just think about growing up, how I didn't get to show up as my full self because I would usually be made fun of or be criticized. So then society starts telling us who we need to be, right? So y'all know when I say, like, who were you before the world told you who you needed to be? I know I think about, I like who I am. And I like that it took me, I don't know, probably closer to my 40s to get back to this space where I'm back to being me. But y'all, let's go back to this idea of being together but lonely, right? So being lonely and not having this community, of course, brother, there's somebody. So not having a community where you just feel seen or heard or understood. And y'all know, I was thinking about that shows up in our marriages, in our relationships. If y'all okay with me sharing this with you, I remember early on when Rob and I got married, y'all, I was 23 and he was 20. We did not know what in the world we were doing, right? So I remember like trying to be preventative and being proactive about, well, we should go to counseling just so we can kind of understand what we should be doing. And I remember when we went to counseling, and y'all, I'm thinking I'm going up in there and everything gonna be right with me. And he the one that's probably got the things that need to work on. But who needed to work on something? Me. So I went in there. We were in counseling. We was probably 24 and 21. And I remember the counselor talking and helping us look at our relationship. And y'all know what was happening? I was expecting Rob to be like everything for me. I was expecting him to basically fulfill all the relationships and the connection that I needed in my life. And I don't know where I got that from. It's almost like I had this idea of in a marriage that your whole focus should be on that individual and not be open and continuing relationships with other people and other friends. It was like I was expecting everything I need to get from him. And so in our experience as a very young married couple, that's one thing I found out in counseling. And so I bet it was hard for Rob. Now that I look back, like how I expected him to always spend his time with me and be with me. And it wasn't that like I felt like needy or I just need his attention. It was just what I thought was supposed to be as a marriage. I don't know. I didn't know what to do as a marriage. But that's an example of like when you're with someone and you could still feel lonely, because one thing that I found out over the years is that I would feel lonely for different types of relationships. And I'm trying to like expect him to fulfill that when really that wasn't really his role to do that. Y'all get what I'm saying? Or times where I know he told me this, he felt lonely before in our marriage when I was working on my PhD. And y'all know what happens where you get so busy with something that you're focused on. And for me, y'all, that's probably one of the hardest things I ever did in my life when I worked on my PhD. When I was working on my PhD, I know my brain felt threatened. And y'all know what happens when we feel threat, right? When we feel threat, we go inwards, or we'll just like go inside to try to like just survive. And it's almost like we can't see what's going on around us. And he told me years later, like there's this struggle, like we're together. He wants to support me through that process, but he felt lonely in that process because I was somewhere else, in the sense of mentally somewhere else. And y'all, he told me that years later. I felt so sad, but he was right. So there's some times where even in your marriage, you feel lonely, or it's like you're expecting something in this relationship that you're not getting. And perhaps this isn't the relationship where that should be taking place in, right? So for example, when he's talking about, there's relationships that need, like he loves to go golf every day with his friends. That's something that's for him and his friends. And I need to be open. Well, I am open to it. But the reality is like, we all have these different relationships, right? These connections for different reasons. And for different people can see different things in you. And it's so life-giving, y'all. That's why I also feel like in this story of loneliness, there's this story of hopefulness too, right? So I'm going over my time, but I need to say one more thing, because I think about this as children and as a child, and how if we talk about really what's within us, what's in our hearts and who we are. I remember as a little girl in school, I always felt like I wasn't understood, or I'd be in classes where, I don't know if I told y'all this before, but my elementary life started right after integration, right? Right after desegregation. So we got bussed out to this school. It felt like an hour away. And most of the time I was the only person of color in my classes. And I remember just being in these groups, in these contexts, in these friend groups where I just felt like an afterthought, or I just wasn't there. I was absent. And I remember how lonely I felt. But I always used to say, but I know I'm going to go back to my family at home. I know I'm going to go back to Tika, you know, my cousin. Like, I'm going to go back to those people. So then that makes me think about today and little brown boys and girls that are in these schools where there's just all white teachers. And the people that are valued there and the characteristics that are valued there are usually rooted in like a more European culture. And so it's a lonely place to be. And y'all know what? It ain't changed for me either. Because in my work life, on different boards and committees that I'm on, I can sit there with those people and really want to connect. And in reality, they don't see me. They don't see me. And the fact is that I understand why they don't see me, because one, sometimes they don't want to. And a lot of people just show up in how they think they should be. And people aren't into making real, authentic, true, vulnerable connections, right? Where we just take off the mask and we just show up, right? People are scared to do that. And I understand why they're scared to do that. I understand. I completely understand it because of how our society aligns things and conspires towards, right, y'all? So I should probably get off here because I'm going over, but I was just thinking about how we can be together but still be lonely. I was also thinking about one time a few years back, I had a really close girlfriend. Love her with all my heart. Deep soul sister, right? She contacted me one time and said she was upset because I wasn't liking her post on Facebook. And you know what? At first I felt irritated or agitated, but then I was like, she wants to be seen by me. She wants to be acknowledged. And why would I get irritated by that? But that's what our society does. When people usually express their loneliness, it's almost like we shun them or make them feel bad about it. And I don't want to be that way, y'all. I don't want to do that. And so I try my best to, like, you know what? I try my best to show up as my full authentic self so that that welcomes another to show up as their full authentic self. Because y'all know we've been told how to be, right? And we have not been encouraged to show up as our full authentic self. And the moment when that doesn't get valued or welcomed, we shut down or we go inward. And then it's like the chicken and the egg, like which came first? I need to connect with people, but then I don't want to connect with people. And it's like this back and forth, right? I think there was one more scenario. Let me see. I think there was one more scenario I wanted to tell y'all about. I don't know, but just think about that, y'all. Like, are you showing up in your full, authentic, true self? Or are you putting on, you know? Because really it matters. It matters if you're showing up and in a real, true, genuine way, instead of just, you know, how we can do on Facebook or social media. We share the good stuff. But the moment we start sharing the things that we struggle with, it's almost like there's this, I don't know, it's almost like there's this connection of like humanness. And I know when we're in dialogue, we're most human. But it's almost like it's this connection of this being that's happening. We get to be instead of do. Even like if you take a second to talk to your neighbor and you're outside talking to a neighbor and you share something that was a struggle for you, it's almost like this releasing happens, right, y'all? Do you experience that? So anyway, I was going to take us through a breath work, but let's just close our eyes for a second and just use this affirmation. Like, close your eyes and just begin to breathe, family. Right? There's people that see your weirdness, your goofiness, your silliness, and they don't shun you for it, right? They don't criticize it. They just let you be. They welcome you. They acknowledge that there's different parts of you that you may have relationships with different people for, and it's okay. Y'all breathing that in? So just allow yourself to become a part of that web of community that says, yes, you are okay. And we see you. We understand you. You don't have to be anyone but you. And you can be however you want to be. All right, y'all. Take a breath in and sigh it out. All right, y'all. We're going to see y'all tomorrow. I know I went over my time today. I ain't even going to say nothing, though. Y'all have a good one. I got to get these grades submitted because today the last day to submit the grades for the semester. All right. Bye.